Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum,
Sam.
and today we're looking at Bulleit Bourbon.
Alrighty, so we're back. We're doing a review of the Bulleit Bourbon. We had this like 3 years ago at least. It was one of our first bourbons that we actually enjoyed.
And loved, yeah, we loved it actually.
We actually really enjoyed it. That was before like we even tried getting into bourbons. That was just like we bought it on a whim because I think the Whiskey Vault said that it was a good bourbon like for beginners or something, and we've been watching them for too long. Yeah, so we bought their recommendation, a good recommendation as always, and we enjoyed it. We're getting back to it now to actually review it because it is definitely kind of like sitting in that budgety range, fit for lockdown number 6 that we're in. So we're going with that one. This is a Diageo owned bourbon, from memory, very thin. And we just realized that it is in fact 45%, which was a big surprise because I was like, no, like surely from memory, that thing tasted like 40 at like minimum. Like I was
surprises
very
me
surprised.
because it's only $50. That's what surprises me.
Yeah,
$50 for a 45% bourbon.
When
That's
it doesn't need to be
good.
because like yeah, these are the guys that gave like Maker's Mark and stuff like a run for their money. So you would expect it to be 40%. But no, 45, which I'm really surprised about. I swore that it was used to be 40%. And if that's the case, someone let us know. But apparently it's just always been 45%, which is a good thing. I'm just surprised because it was what?
Smell this. It actually smells really good in the glass. For $50, I'm actually. It smells
nice. It never
smells
we
like
liked
a.
it.
It smells like a 101.
No.
Not as spicy,
I guess,
but it's
like,
got like that heft behind it.
It's missing like the black tea note.
Yeah,
and,
black tea spices, but this is...
And a bit of that cherry kick.
Yeah.
This has got lots of vanilla and oak. But yeah, anyway, Diageo owned whiskey. It's basically a bourbon that's just kind of like become a very popular reach, grab off the shelf, pour for any kind of really mixing straight or rocks kind of purpose. It actually stands up surprisingly well from memory with rocks, which is, yeah, you would think again a thinner whiskey, but I guess not that thin. My memory just keeps telling me it's thin. But yeah, so it is got like a kind of a wavy background history, like pretty much all, not just bourbons but Scotch as well, but just all whiskeys have. They started by the Bulleit family in like the early 1800s or mid 1800s, then stopped when someone died, then restarted, and then eventually sold to Diageo, and Diageo kicked them back up, and they're going. Once Diageo gets their hands on it, they don't really stop thereafter. They've got too much power behind it. So the distillery source is not, from what I could find, it's not released. They don't tell you, but
and it's at least 2 years old, isn't it?
It says straight, so it has to be at least 2 years old. Yeah. I nearly said the wrong thing, and I said once like 4 years old was straight, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 years old, not 4 years old, which doesn't really matter. We'll get into the notes.
The nose is like black
vanilla,
black pepper, vanilla. I get black pepper, vanilla,
dry vanilla oak, like a dry, like maybe that's the pepper, like the dry pepper, vanilla, oak. It's all kind of like seeping into one. Like it's sweet vanilla, but then the dry oak and the ashy pepper kind of like counters that.
It's
got a nice nose.
It's got candy corn, whatever they're called.
Candy corn's like the lolly.
Yeah, kettle corn's, yeah. I mean candy corn. Yeah. I'm getting candy corn.
We're trying to, for anyone that's wondering why we keep coming up with all these different like international like slang words, it's because we've been like, every time we watch, like majority of the time it'll be an American or Canadian reviewer, and they've got like words for things that in Australia we don't use the same words. Like we say popcorn for like kettle corn, or I don't even know if all of America say it. We're just one review, but that kind of thing. Raisins and sultanas, apricots.
I mean, it's good for us to. It's good to expand our vocab. So
it's not even like our vocabulary for like new words
Just whiskey
on
language.
new things. It's new words for the same things. It's just different countries' versions of words we already, things we already know.
But anyway, this nose is a lot better than what I remember it.
It's way more dense. I thought this was gonna be thin, and I'm like surprised it's 45%.
It's actually really nice. And,
It tastes how it smells for about 1 second, and then it kind of just is dry
disappears
oak and slight sweetness.
Still, it's really nice.
It's not bad at all. I don't mind it.
That oak stands out through everything else.
Yeah, it's very oaky. It's got like this slight ashy smokiness, but not like in a peaty way. More
very hint.
It's like this. Maybe it's the dry pepperiness that's making me think that.
Yeah,
because the pepperiness is still there. It's still that dry oak. It's still that vanilla flavor.
It's almost like a vanilla bean on the.
It's like the syrup. Like it's kind of got that
the essence. Whatever it's called.
The vanilla essence. It's kind of got that sharpness to it.
And then that taste is like sweet oak, and then just the sweetness just kind of dissipates, and then it's just oak. I actually really like it. For $50,
it's very dry, and it's like not super complex. But for, again, as you were about to say, $50, that is fine. Like what it's delivering is not disappointing for the price range that it's swinging in.
It says on the label, it says made using our family's high rye mash bill.
High rye. So in the 20s must be pretty high. That's probably where the kind of dryness and stuff is coming from, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not really 100% sure what high and low rye is within a bourbon. It's a decent amount of corn in the 60s. Obviously some malted barley, and then the rye was 27 or something %. I can double check that.
Do we know why it's called Frontier whiskey?
28%. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure why it's called Frontier bourbon. I think it's just the kind of aesthetic and kind of theming they're going with. It's pretty old, but I don't know if it's that old. Frontier. But
Frontier means leading the way, doesn't it? To be.
Well, is that what I just assumed like Old West. Like Old West bourbon. It's like the bottling style and aesthetic and stuff, and the numbering, like the lettering font and stuff. I assumed it was like that, but who knows? Until not quite recently, just a recent-ish time, Four Roses was supplying a fair bit or all to the Bulleit line. Now it is not disclosed, even though it says it is distilled by Bulleit Distilling Company. It still doesn't disclose what distillery that is. But it's assuming that it's just someone that Diageo, Seagrams and stuff own.
I do prefer the nose over the palate on this.
Definitely. It's more complex.
More complex on the nose, but the palate's still drinkable. It's quite nice.
It's just a little... I like the high rye. I think it's interesting. It adds like more of those dry, spicy notes, but it's almost got a Booker's effect, like you said, but without the Booker's, without the kind of other intense flavors. It's kind of got that dryness, but without the other stuff but without the other stuff to balance it out.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I like it a lot, especially for the price. It's not gonna become like a new kind of thing that I always keep in the house. I think Wild Turkey 101 or the Rare Breed or Russell's, stuff like that. A lot of those kinds of ones are probably still going to be in my I
reckon this
preference.
Is the best budget though.
But when it comes to that specific price range, you're probably right. That might tip it off. Like
so that's like JD, Jim Beam kind of price range.
Yeah,
maybe a bit more expensive than them, but it's a lot better than them as well at the same time. And
I think I don't know if I'm going to cop hate from this, but I think I still prefer it more than Buffalo Trace. $10 more.
I can't remember what Buffalo. It's been so long since I had it.
It's just too sweet and thin for me. I liked it a lot when we first tried it, and I had a couple bottles since then over the course of the year. It's just kind of too, now that we're drinking Noah's Mill and like
just high proof
Bookers
stuff
and stuff like that, I think it's too sweet for me at the moment.
And
so I think
simple from memory, isn't it?
yeah,
It's just like just a sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's nice, but it's very friendly. It's a bit too friendly. It needs to take a page out of Bulleit's book and kind of get some more spicy dry notes. Alrighty, if you like this episode of Everything Whiskey, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.